Okay, we're going to try something a little bit different here. I'm going to use this little microphone. This could totally be a bust, but we'll see what happens. If this works, then I'll use it more, and if not, I'll never use it again. So Onward is about two brothers who exist in a land that used to be filled with magic, who have an opportunity to bring their long-lost father back for a day. However, when only the bottom half of him comes back, they embark on an adventure to bring the rest of him back. First, I just need to say, Pixar has a track record. They make really, really great movies. There aren't really any movies from Pixar that I genuinely hate with everything in me. There are ones that I really don't like, but I don't think there's any Pixar movie that I absolutely hate. So in terms of like studios with track records, Pixar is among the best. They constantly are putting out hits, especially their last couple with Toy Story 4 and Coco and Incredibles 2 even. They've done really, really well over the past few years. And walking out of the theater, I can say that this definitely is a good movie. I enjoyed it. It still isn't like top tier Pixar. It's not near like Finding Nemo or Monsters Inc. or the Toy Story movies, and we'll get into why that is in a little bit, but it's definitely a good movie. Let's dive into some specifics. Obviously, the first thing that I have to commend with Pixar is the animation. The animation, as always, is just gorgeous. I don't think it's as good as it was in Toy Story 4, and I think partially they give a little bit more budget to Toy Story 4 because it's an established franchise that people love, and so they have the budget to pour more money into that for better animation. And with original films like Onward, I love that we're getting original films, but Pixar isn't going to put as much of the budget in an original film as they are a fourth Toy Story movie, which makes sense. But the animation in this movie is still gorgeous. Just the character designs, the creature designs are really great and very cartoonish and very fun and lively. But it also mixes pretty well with a very photorealistic environment with the buildings and vehicles and stuff like that. It looks really, really good. I don't think the blend works as well because you do have these really cartoonish characters with these really photorealistic environments. And so I wish they did either one or the other. They stuck with a more photorealistic look or stuck with a more cartoonish look. And I think with the tone and the story, I think they should have stuck with just a more cartoonish animation style. But the animation is great. I just wish it would have stayed a little bit more focused in that area. I also need to mention the voice acting because the voice acting is great in this movie, particularly from Tom Holland and Chris Pratt, who just knock it out of the park with this movie. You see the chemistry that they have with each other. You can tell that this is a friendship, a bond that they share with each other, and it bleeds through on the screen. Even though it's an animated movie, you can still tell that they have a bond together, and you can feel it. You can feel the chemistry between the two. And they both give really, really great performances. Tom Holland really dives into that shy, that reserved kid that is in all of us, especially me. You really see that. He does a really great job of portraying that. And then Chris Pratt does a really great job of playing this super overconfident and hyped up guy. They just work so well together. They balance each other out really well, and it creates a really great dynamic between the two that you really buy into with the story. It's just really, really good. And in traditional Pixar fashion, the story here is just fantastic. Pixar just always does a great job of telling really good stories that have a lot of great emotional depth, but are also really fun to watch. And this, even though it's not top tier Pixar or anything, this still hits that mark. It's a really emotional and really great story just about brother to brother bonding and father to son bonding. And as somebody who is an older brother and looks up to their dad so much, I really connected with this movie. I was almost in tears at the end of it. It was really, really good, and it hit me on an emotional level. And as I kind of hinted at before, this movie is really, really fun. There was never a moment that I was bored. There was never a moment that I was like checking out or wasn't interested in what was happening. I was always wondering what was going to happen next. And it's really cool to see Pixar still continuing to make engaging stories, even with original films. Because like a Toy Story movie, like that's really easy for me to go see because it's a Toy Story movie. I'm always going to go see a Toy Story movie. But with an original film, it feels a little bit harder for me to get there. Even though I love original films, I support original films, there's just something about walking into a movie where you don't really know a whole lot about it that is a little bit challenging. And I think this movie just does a great job of capturing that Pixar spirit, of having that fun, adventurous, entertaining story, but also really diving into the emotional sides of the story and the characters, and I think Pixar balances that really well here. Now, one area that I really wish they would have tapped into more with this movie is the blend of the fantasy elements and the modern day elements. They kind of set up that the fantasy used to be part of this world, and then it's a little bit into the modern times, and then it really just dives full in to the fantasy elements, and it doesn't really embrace that modern side of it all that much, except for the police and then one character that it has a little bit more of a presence. But I just wish there was a better blend between the two. I felt like it wasn't blended as well as the trailers might have made it out to be. But I still really liked the story. I love the fantasy elements of it. I wish it kind of embraced that modern side a little bit more, though. And because the story is so centered on the two brothers, there's not a whole lot of room for these supporting characters to have a bigger role in this movie. Like, yes, this is a story about the two brothers, and you have to respect that, and they do a really good job of telling that story. But the supporting characters all just kind of feel shoved in just for the purposes of having more characters, which it didn't feel as authentic as it has in the past for Pixar, like with Finding Nemo, or with Toy Story, or The Incredibles, or Monsters, Inc. And the jokes here aren't the best. There are some that definitely work. There are some in the trailers that still kind of work, but there's not a whole lot outside of the jokes in the trailer that, like, really, really work. There aren't any, like, standout jokes that I can, like, immediately remember that weren't in the trailer. There's a couple really good visual gags, especially with the dad, since he only has the bottom half and the top half is just made of, like, sweatshirts and stuff like that. And there's some funny gags with that, but it's definitely not the funniest Pixar movie, and even it does feel like it's geared more towards kids, and it wasn't as funny as other Pixar movies, even though other Pixar movies don't feel like they're made as much for kids. So it was an interesting balance for me. I wanted a little bit more comedy out of it, but like I said, the story works really well. It just wasn't, like, as funny as other Pixar movies have been in the past. Overall, I think this is a pretty good movie. I wouldn't say it's a great movie, and I don't really see myself going back and rewatching this or, like, having a major desire to go and see this again. But I think for a one-time movie, I think for a family getaway, this movie works perfect. It's entertaining, it's fun, it's adventurous, it's never boring, and it's original, which you have to go and support original films, especially from Pixar. I'm going to give Onward a double tap. I can't believe this, but this isn't the last original Pixar movie that we're getting this year. We're getting Soul later this year, which I cannot wait for. I'm a musician, and it just looks so great. I'm really excited to see what they do with that one. I definitely need more trailers from that because the teaser that's out, while it's really good, doesn't really show a whole lot, so I need a little bit more to, like, be fully sold on it, but I'm really excited for Soul. But yeah, I'm always happy whenever Pixar puts out anything, but especially original content. Alrighty, so that's going to wrap up my review. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. If you liked it, give it a like, hit subscribe, hit the notification bell. You'll be the first one to know when I upload a new video. I've got more reviews coming very soon. I'm seeing The Way Back in the near future. I'll be reviewing that here on my channel. Then I'll be gone on vacation for about 5 days, so if I don't do anything here for a while, that's why. But there's a lot to look forward to. There's some great movies coming up soon, especially with the new Mulan, with A Quiet Place. So really looking forward to what's to come. So stay tuned here on this channel so you don't miss anything. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.